r/AskReddit. Which 2 and 2 did you just recently put together? At the end of first grade, the teacher asked the class, so who wants to stay here with me next year? We all threw up our hands up excited. And she picked one of us. That kid stayed behind when we went to second grade. I think about this once in a while and feel thankful she didn't pick me. Last time I thought about this, I realized that I've been missing the mark. That specific student was being left behind that year, and the teacher did it in the smoothest way possible. That comedian stories aren't completely true. In Spanish, hats are called sombrero because they make sombra, shade. PGP encryption that a lot of large businesses use stand for pretty good privacy. It's good to know data security is so important. Cul-de-sac means bottom of the bag, as in the only way out is where you came from. And my first language is French : that my neighbors, 3 teenage boys, were the ones who actually struck and killed my dog when I was 12. They blamed a mysterious white Mercedes for it. My dad, who was abroad at the time, was devastated. My stepmom totally bought into it. It was 40 years to realize that there was never any white Mercedes. Or Ida potatoes. Crossed Oregon state line where factory was. Into Idaho. Just then realized name. Jackie Chan is one person. My first language is Spanish. So I always thought it was Jack Y. Chan. The only movie I had seen him in was one with Owen Wilson. So I thought Owen Wilson was Jack and Chan was Jackie Chan. Sonic the Hedgehog's best friend is named Miles per hour. Miles per hour. How the fuck did this take nearly 30 years of life to see? Whenever you see weather stations on the news and notice, hey, I wonder why they went with some random town in the area when there are other bigger ones nearby. It's likely because there's a regional airport or small airfield. They all need accurate weather for planes to take off, including wind direction, intensity, and barometric pressure, so they have all the equipment available to show the bigger picture locally. They call it a disease because it puts the body out of ease. Despite living in various houses growing up, my dad's closet would always smell the exact same way. He said it was the mothballs that he used. Later, when I tried pot for the first time, I said this smells like mothballs. Everyone looked at me funny. And it still took days until I finally realized what that meant. I race cars in an amateur league. There is a blue 240 SX with the name Blue Bayou. I always thought they were from Louisiana or something until the other day when I realized it sounds like Blue Bayou. Why they are called contact lenses. MR. Dink from the 90s cartoon Doug. He and his wife are dinks because it stands for dual income. No kids. If you recall MR. Dink showing things off. That's why. Very expensive. Arrested Development. It wasn't just a description of the family's maturity level. Their property development was Arrested all 5 seasons, and I literally only figured this out watching the final episode. Not me. But my friends didn't know Tinder itself was a pun. Because when you swipe on each other, it's a match. Edit. Users are the Tinder for the match to light up a fire. My son was learning about inhabitants of Nova Scotia called Acadians who got relocated to Louisiana. Where they're called Cajuns. Acadians equals Cajuns. Blew his mind. My car door was slightly ajar, not unusual, on Monday, and all week I couldn't find my backpack, also not unusual. I lose shit very often, and I was having a reunion with my friends all weekend, so I figured I was just shit-faced and went to my car to my phone charger or something. Took a couple days for me to realize, oh shit, I got robbed. When I was about 19, shortly after Christmas, I went to get my wallet from the drawer next to my bed, only to find it missing. Thinking to myself, did I not take it out of my coat? I went to check, only to find it absent from there too. Panicking, I realize I've likely lost my wallet, or worse, had it stolen, and start ringing to cancel my debit cards. A few days later, my dad hands me my wallet. It's missing my bank cards and about £30 in cash I had in there, but things like my store loyalty cards, staff discount card for where I worked, and ID cards. He says he found it in a nearby park, yet the wallet was clean. This is the same man who routinely needed to borrow money from me, over $1,000 at this point I'm unlikely to see again. I only realized the other day it's very likely that he took the wallet from where I kept it. Took the money out of my wallet. And then I realized it was missing before he had chance to put it back. Then merely claimed to find it a few days after to avoid admitting to taking the money himself. Just this week I realized that the icon for my clock app changes to show the current time. Not extremely recently, but it took me 21 years to notice that my birthday is exactly 9 months after Valentine's Day. That's right motherfuckers, I'm a product of love. Edit. I do understand that science doesn't fully support it, but I also can choose to ignore that. There's a meme going around about making sure your young kids go to classmates' birthday parties because it's devastating to be a kid and have nobody come to yours. And I thought that I was damn lucky that even though I didn't cast a wide net of friends, everybody always came to my birthday party. My mom was a teacher at my school. It never occurred to me until recently that some of those kids had a vested interest in making sure they came to my birthday party. That the word movies is slang that derives from moving picture. I'd never considered it slang before. And it still feels weird whenever I say it aloud now. The title of the kids reading show Between the Lines is a play on the phrase reading between the lines. That the lines on the back window of my car are the defroster. I live in AZ and park in the garage so I never get frost on my car. I am 37 BTW. Nurse here. You can actually see the brain connection being made when you tell a teenage boy that the brown ring around their penis is the scar from their circumcision. Alphabet equals alpha beta. Apparently everyone knows this. I'm in my 40s. Valve released Steam. Took me entirely too long to realize the pun. That my girlfriend taking a shower anytime her male co-worker would text her wasn't a coincidence, and this morning I got the luxury of watching her take a nude selfie for another man. The entirety of these threads are like opening doors I never knew were there. About a year ago, I was thinking of growing some pickles in my backyard. I was frustrated, however, when I was googling how to grow pickles, and I couldn't find the information I was looking for. I was the tender age of 29 years old. Peacock. Peahen. Always thought whipped cream was difficult to make. My friends and I would get excited and impressed that this crepe place would make their whipped cream in-house. As advertised for an extra $1.50. Can't begin to tell you how dumb I felt one day when I realized it is literally whipped cream. Fez from that 70s show is actually spelled Fez and it stands for foreign exchange student. Cause they couldn't say his name. Blew my mind. Edit. I may be wrong. It may be spelled Fez, but I think my point still stands. Howdy is short for how do you do. Ray-Bans ban rays from your eyes. I'm embarrassed to admit I thought a guy named Raymond Ban owned a sunglasses business. Edit. Thanks for the silver. Figures that my most upvoted comment ever is about me being a dumbass. Co-pilots aren't the main pilot's assistant. They're just another pilot. One of my wife's cousins is named Trey, but that isn't his real name. He has the same name as his father and grandfather, making him the third, or Tress, which got turned into Trey. I've known him for more than 10 years and just made the connection. When I was little, my parents split up. My mother explained to me that my father has his poop all over the place and needs to get his poop in a group before I could see him again. It wasn't until 20 years later that I figured out getting his poop in a group meant he needed to get his shit together. Edit. Wowza. This is my most upvoted comment by far. Thanks everyone. Hope you are all keeping your poop in a group. Or are at least on the path to grupping your poop. That Liam was a nickname for William. Had no clue. Edit. I've annoyed an entire country with my top comment. Edit. Yes, Irish for William. The Irish shortened the name William hundreds of years ago and it has become a common given name. Still a derivation of William. My friend recently suggested Freddie Mercury was called MR. Fahrenheit because you put mercury in thermometers. When Bugs Bunny says what a maroon. He is ironically trying to say moron. Diagonally. Diagonally nocturnally. Nocturnally grim old place. Grim old place. I have heard the words hors d'oeuvres many times. I have seen the words hors d'oeuvres many times. I only put together that they are the same word last week. On the side of the road you will often see a small weed that looks like a yellow flower. These are called dandelions. On the side of the road you will often see a weed that looks like a fluffy white flower, which is seeds that come off in the wind when you blow on them. These are called dandelions. You would think that them having the same name would have given away the fact that these are the same plant. At 37 years old and having a degree in biology, I only realized this about a year ago. My wife had a pretty good laugh watching those two particular neurons stumble across each other in my brain. Fortnight is short for 14 nights. This isn't recent, but it wasn't until I was in my teens that I realized that when it rained, it wasn't raining all over the world at the same time. This little piggy went to market. Edit. Gold. This little piggy is going to the bank. The Baltimore Ravens are called the Ravens because Edgar Allan Poe is buried in the city. Lord Fuckwood Farquaad from Shrek. All the adult jokes from The Simpsons that went over my head 20 years ago. My 3rd grade teacher gave me special assignments and privileges because she knew I was being bullied and had no friends. It literally never occurred to me. I thought she just trusted me to take care of stuff. Nope. I finally realized as a 20-year-old that there was a reason. Edit. Obligatory holy crap, this blew up. Also apparently I'm making a lot of people rethink their childhood and I'm sorry about that. But I'm eternally grateful for the teachers who made my life a little better and I wouldn't be here today without them. Realizing this has made me all the more grateful for them. Every kiss begins with K. Literally figured that one out a couple years ago and I'm 31. Playing Rainbow Six Siege as Myra, a Spanish character in the game who can attach windows to walls. I grew up in Texas where we are required to take at least basic Spanish courses in school and have been with my Spanish speaking Mexican American GF for almost 5 years. But only recently put together that the character's name is Myra, the Spanish word for look as in look through the window. I was so excited when I figured it out. Edit. Not required to take Spanish specifically but just a foreign language in general. I took Spanish as it made the most sense. The new Chantix commercial has a bird walking around a house doing human-like tasks. Then I noticed that the bird is specifically a turkey. A turkey wearing a sweater. Because he's cold. It's a cold turkey doing the commercial for a stop smoking medicine. Holly Quinn equals Harlequin. Yeah. Not my proudest moment. The blacks of the eye are black because there's nothing there. It's just a hole. You're seeing inside their eyeball. But you can't see anything because there's no light in there. Never before last fall did I think about how burrito translates to little donkey. They apparently got that name because they look like roll packs carried by donkeys, or possibly because they look like donkey ears. I was like 25, I'm 29 now, when I realized that in the 70s show, they're smoking pot when they're in the basement and they do the circle. Why I never clued in. I don't know. They never really hid it. The laughing. The talking about food. The smoke. I guess I was just really dense. No idea how I clued into either. It's like a light bulb suddenly went off in my head or something. Edit. I'm so happy I'm not alone. Our shower thoughts has entered the chat. The I and O on the power switch of a computer, and many other electronics, is actually a 1 and 0 for the binary settings on and off. Feminine version of John is Jane. Spanish John is Juan. Spanish Jane is Juana. Marijuana, marijuana. Mary Jane. I thought it was just because MJ. My daughter's favorite movie ages 4-7 was Finding Nemo. We had to watch Finding Nemo every day for years. I have this movie memorized. About a month ago I get a text from my daughter in the middle of the day while she's at school. She says, "In Nemo in the tank when they initiate into tankhood?" They're referring to the actual Ring of Fire. You know. The Pacific Ring of Fire? I just got the joke. I thought the phrase fetal position for when something is curled up was beetle position because I thought for whatever reason I associate pill bugs with beetles and they curl up. My grandpa has a deer head in his shed named Horny. It has a name tag and everything. I spent a lot of years walking past it and going, "Hi Horny." I'm ashamed at how long it took me to get the joke. Edit. Holy crap, thanks for the upvotes. The principal on Saved by the Bell was named Mr. Belding as in the bell goes ding as in Saved by the Bell. Thanks. Marijuana. No me, but a boss of mine just realized you can count the steps on a ladder to tell how tall it is. A chum bucket is where you'd keep fish guts. Possibly explaining why Plankton's restaurant ain't so busy. Edit. Spelling. WWE wrestler The Undertaker's longtime valet was named pallbearer as in someone who carries your casket. I'm embarrassed. If you want to get nothing in return, you can like and join my Discord. There is a link in the description.